Aparicio and Octavius roll like tides. College days, Clark, Atlanta, where it all collides. Fred stepped in, the trio came alive. 3 voices, 1 mic, now the stories thrive. Late nights, deep talks, the bonds grew tight. From dorm room dreams to the podcast light. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. From the quad to the world, every tale's legit. Fred's jokes hit hard, Aparicio's wit. Antavius drops wisdom smooth and quick. 3 heads, 1 vibe, the chemistry's thick. Topics that matter, no cap, no game. Through the static, we're carving our name. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. One heart, we're every, we minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere, we minds, 1 heart, we're
Hello, my name is Antavius. Hello, Frederick here. And of course, without our third partner, we are the Brothaz. But of course, we still always try to make sure that we have diverging points of view, right, Fred?
Do we do that? That's what we do. That's what we do. We gotta have another person on.
We gotta have another person. I mean, just the 2 of us talking. Nobody want to hear us talk.
Right. We boring to everyone.
So we told Aparicio, you gotta find somebody. And I think he found a perfect person for today's topic.
Here we go.
The perfect person for today's topic. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and to present to others, and I'll go through his curriculum vitae once he's here, the Honorable Dr. Gary L. White.
Yeah.
Dr. White. Dr. White.
Now, Dr. White.
I'm here to represent. Standing in for
No, we got another victim.
All right. We appreciate you, Doc. We certainly appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate you actually joining us. If it's okay with you, I would love to tell the people a little bit about who you are. Now, I would like to be able to take some liberties with your curriculum vitae because we are only an hour-long show, as I told Dr. Lamar White. But y'all are some very impressive brothers, but I would love to be able to tell the people a little bit about who you are. Is that okay?
Go ahead. Go. Keep it short, though, man. Keep it short.
You tell you what. You tell me what you want me to say.
No, you take the liberties. You know, I've been knowing you brothers for a long time, man. And I think the beautiful part, too, is that I'm EAU alum, 2-time alum, too. So Clark Atlanta University back in the house once again. So I'm excited. And it's cool also as being a professor and engaging in this iron sharpening moment with y'all. So you flow how you want to flow. I'm just happy. I'm ready to go, man.
All right. So let me tell you, Dr. Gary L. White is an esteemed scholar and educator in social work, currently serving as an associate professor at Clark Atlanta University, Whitney M. Young Junior School of Social Work. He holds a BA in psychology from California State University at Hayward, a master's degree in social work focusing on children and families, and a PhD in social work, both from Clark Atlanta University. With over 31 years of experience, Dr. White has dedicated himself to designing, implementing, and evaluating family-focused programs He spent 23 years at Families First, Georgia's leading family service agency, emphasizing fatherhood promotion and healthy family dynamics. Dr. White's research focuses on father involvement, and during the pandemic, which I thought was very interesting, Dr. White actually engaged audiences through YouTube discussions on the impact of the pandemic on family and community, social justice issues, and related traumas. He currently conducts weekly 12-minute Zoom prayer calls and various fatherhood workshops on the role of adverse childhood experiences on fatherhood engagement and emotional intelligence. That's deep. He holds a certificate in nonprofit management from the Alliance for Children and Families in collaboration with the University of Michigan School of Social Work. Active in professional organizations, Dr. White serves on the board of the Black Man Lab and holds active memberships in Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And he is a proud member of the W.C. Thomas Lodge number 112, where he has served as a chaplain for 14 years. Dr. White celebrates 32 years of marriage to his college sweetheart, Dr. Celeste M. White, and they are the proud parents of 3 accomplished daughters, Imani, Nia, and Jaya. Please welcome Dr. Gary L. White.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's actually, we got to clap again for that.
Right. That's phenomenal.
Dr. White, thank you so much for joining us. But so what we wanted to do, because as you see, Dr. White is a person who is a little bit slanted to fatherhood, even based on his curriculum vitae. So I wanted to bring somebody on that could balance that off to ensure that we're able to, if you will, have diverging points of view. So what I did, Fred, is to invite back your good friend, my good friend, our good friend, and brother, of course, the Honorable Dr. Lamar J. White. So without further ado, and I will talk about his curriculum vitae once he's here with us, please join us in welcoming to the show Dr. Lamar J. And the J stands for Just Don't Play With Me. White. All right, Dr. White. Welcome, Dr. White. Now, we're good. But before I get into your curriculum vitae, I got an issue. And I need y'all's help. The two of y'all. Both of you are white. Both of y'all black. But both of you are white. So y'all tell me, and Frederick here, how do you all want us to acknowledge you?
Well,
what do we do? What do we call you? I can't even get my computer work. What do we call you?
Well, you call me G White.
G White.
Okay. L White.
L White. All right. That works. So,
you know, and the L stands for love. Ain't that right, Fred?
Back all the time.
That is right, because their first name is Lamar. I had to think that through. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Dr. Lamar J. White. Dr. Lamar J. White is a native of Compton, California. Dr. White has earned a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Master of Arts in Community Counseling/Education, both from Clark-Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. White earned his Doctor of Philosophy in Developmental Psychology from Howard University in Washington, D.C. In July 2020, Dr. White received a post-crisis leadership certification from the University of South Florida, Muma College of Business, positioning himself and his team to successfully navigate the challenges and opportunities during this unique times. Dr. White has amassed experiences from youth family services in Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta Public Schools, Miles College, School of Education. I got to take a drink because it's a lot here. So y'all excuse me. Howard Trio Program, Student Support Services, Howard University Capstone Educational Research Institute, Howard University Department of Research Residence Life as Interim Dean, and Morehouse College as Assistant Dean of Residence Education and Associate Dean of Housing. Dr. White has amassed experiences in higher education at Atlanta Metropolitan State College, Clark-Atlanta University, Denmark Technical College, Georgia Gwinnett College, Howard University, Miles College, and Morehouse College. Dr. White currently serves as Vice President at Midland Technical College, where he leads all areas of student services, including enrollment services, financial aid, residence life, student activities, student health services, and Upward Bound. Dr. White's publications include communal and individual learning contexts as they relate to mathematics achievement under simulated classroom conditions in the Journal of Black Psychology, as well as investigating the impacts of interpersonal teaching styles and cultural learning contexts on student engagement, student mattering, and academic performing among African American college students. So, with that, please welcome again Dr. Lamar J. White. And I said, Dr. Love, just don't play with it, White.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Just don't play with it. All right. So, gentlemen, we got a big topic. We got a big subject. We got some discussions tonight. And these discussions are going to be around family court. And y'all know me. I've had my times in courts, and family courts are part of it. But before we get into that, I know, Hawkins, that we do our hot topics.
Right. Hot topic. It's that
time for the hot topic. So what is the hot topic today?
All right, brothers and guests and everyone around the world. This is a topic that it has been on everyone's platform of some sort, of some form of another. This is about the CEO that everyone has been talking about. Tavis, go ahead and play the clip.
Let's tried to talk them out of this, people. I didn't want to do this because I feel like this is just going to go downhill real fast. But
we got to hear the views of the brothers. So yeah, everybody got a view.
So be it. You asked for it. It shall be done. Here we go.
Brothers, 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 brothers. 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 Yeah, look, the floor is yours. Look, the hot topic speaks for itself. We got our special guest, Dr. L. Love Dr. White. I want to see what the Love Doctor got to say for this one.
You got to know what the Love Doctor going to say about this one.
And then we got Dr. G. White, a renowned family extraordinaire.
Absolutely.
So I'm just waiting, and then we got Tavius. Woo, Jesus!
Is he a good father and husband? Is what I want to know, Dr. Lamar J. White.
Good father and husband, man. Well, y'all know my take on cheating. Men shouldn't cheat.
Wait, say that again.
Are you saying that women should though?
I'm saying that I only can take accountability, and especially I want to say something else that Jeezy says: black men don't cheat, but I don't even want to start that.
It might be somebody on this platform that could contradict that. Dr. L. Love Dr. White. I don't know now. Don't put nothing out there that we all can't agree to.
That's right. No, but good husband, good father. Wow. I think it all depends on where your moral compass is. As a father, you should have some type of ethics and morals, and you want to lead by example. So if that was the question, cheating on your wife is really, really bad. And actually, what came out of this is once this came out, his youngest daughter, his daughter that's a teenage or maybe college, she started posting provocative pictures online because it's like I guess he probably was like the moral, he was beating his hand on the table saying, hey, you have to do this, you have to do this. After that came out, she came out with all these provocative photos.
Put your face in the screen, and can you turn your volume up a little bit, Dr. White? If it's not,
yeah.
Okay, that's
cool. All right, excellent.
I didn't know that. Did y'all know that?
I never knew that. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
As a father and as a husband, I don't think he didn't answer the call. You can't give in to temptation. We know that we're at work the majority of the time, and we know that workplace relationships, whether you're married or not, as you can see, they happen at alarming rates. So there's no reason why he should have been out late night without his wife. You got to take some accountability now. His wife should have been asking questions. Where is she?
He's the CEO. Now what does this woman do?
She is the chief human peoples officer. So the chief
HR.
HR.
She knows better.
The wife was at home taking care of those babies that you just referenced. To start there, he called and said, I'm working late. I got to prepare a report for the board. I know how this goes. I got to prepare a report for the board. Right? And they go to the Coldplay concert, and instead of going up front, because a CEO generally could afford front row tickets.
But where did they go? They up in the bleachers.
Doing Coldplay songs.
They should have been in the box.
It sounded like Nancy Grace then. God.
It's so crazy because what I'm trying to wrap my mind around is that, there's a right way to be wrong and a wrong way to be wrong. It's the wrong way to be wrong. Well, let me just say this, that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around why he would take her to a public setting. The only thing that I can arrive at right now is that I think he told his wife that he was going to a concert. But I think he might have said that I'm going with the team. Or I'm taking the team. So I could, we could kind of create the possible scenarios. But if it's your side piece, I'm just trying to figure out why you would take her to a concert. It's just, so it doesn't make, he don't need to be in the business to cheat. because that's a bad decision. And I'm going to add another one, too. This is why you got to have boys. Because if he would have had boys, if he would have
they would have with him.
You gotta have your brothers.
His boys would have said, you done lost your mind. You don't take her. So
No, well, you ain't got the same squad I got, because the squad I got, them niggas, and I'm going to say that, sorry. Them niggas be like, yo, forward your phone to my phone so she call.
I mean, I see that. But I'm still going to say, I don't care how raunchy your boys are. I don't care how raunchy your boys are. They still going to say, but don't take her to a concert.
Exactly.
That they might say, for real.
I have a different spin on this, you guys.
What's your spin, Fred? Because Fred, do you have any experience in this?
Yes, I've experienced getting caught cheating. Yeah, I can tell you all the wrong ways. You guys have been part of that life, which is going to lead into our bigger conversation of what happens if you so ever get caught. But I do have a different perspective of this, though. Oh. The lady from HR. So what came out from what I've heard was there were other people from the job that was there in attendance, right? Which would make me assume, I'm going to assume here, that other people in a company knew about this.
This is the worst kept secret.
It was exactly. It was the worst kept secret. I'm almost under the impression that the wife may have known or should have known what was going on, because maybe not.
You ain't gonna sit there and blame that lady.
But sometimes in a marriage, things are already happening before it hits the public eye. I don't know. I really think that maybe there was already discord. Maybe the woman already kind of knew, and it just hit the public scene.
If y'all find him, just let me know what the ransom is.
Which one do you guys think is worse? This situation or the Ime Udoka and Nia Long situation, where he was the... Ime Udoka was the head basketball coach of the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She moved to Boston to be with him and found out that he was having a baby the day she got there or something like that, right?
He was talking to the president, the president's wife, right? The president, we don't know, somebody very high in their
organization. Who's he doing now?
He was taking down the president of basketball operations' wife, as well as she worked for the organization.
What do you mean taking her down? Against her?
Taking it? No, he was
having an affair.
Had an affair.
Yeah.
And this is all behind closed doors. So they could have easily just terminated him or whatever the situation is, but they terminated him and said that he was in a relationship with Nia Long. So put her situation out there when she had nothing to do with it. So then she's humiliated publicly, and they terminate him. Or no, they put him on they put him on suspension or something like that.
Yeah, like administrative leave.
Didn't she move for him though?
Yeah, she moved.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is up there. This is up there. The aftermath, y'all, is we're going to be talking about family court, but the aftermath of this is incredible because Jay White is talking about the acting out of the teen daughter. There's humiliation that the children go through. There's humiliation that the wife goes through. And so the structure of this family as we know it, and the extended family as we know it. But Fred, you've said something that's very interesting, and that is the people in the office knew. So everybody, but I can understand the silence. He's the CEO and she's the head of HR. Right. So there's a cost. Retribution is real. So you do better going along and sitting in silence, and that moral barometer is taken out the room. But the consequences now, to support your argument, I'm interested in seeing what happens if a divorce or separation and something like that follows. But then there's another piece that y'all take under. Sometimes in these high-level marriages, you reach a point where with all the assets and everything tied into it, you say I ain't going nowhere. So sometimes we got a leader.
Cheaper to keep, bro.
We got a leader of this great nation right now. I think if there's any chance his wife can bounce, she would bounce. But the cost, the consequences are too great to leave.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, so that was a hot topic. That was a hot one. That's gonna get a whole lot of folks in trouble tonight. But hey, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a pause for the calls, but as you see, this is the Brothers, and we will be back soon as we pick up Bill. All right, thank you.
we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air. Pull up a chair, 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere.
Yeah. All right. We are back on the other side of the break, and we thank you so much for your patience. So this is where we get into the topic tonight: family court. Who gets preferential treatment, moms or dad? And I've had this conversation and this debate and this argument, honestly, just over and over and over and over again, with different colleagues who are also attorneys. It's interesting to hear the viewpoint of some female attorneys, and I tried to get a couple of friends on, but they weren't available. I didn't want to hear it. Brothers, all right? But nonetheless, their position is that men dominate and control society. Women should have a benefit somewhere. And women are nurturers, so that's why women are better parents, and that the courts see that. And I take a different point of view to that. I'm thankful for judges like the Honorable Belinda Edwards in Fulton County Superior Court, who I've been before, and I've seen her come down directly in the middle, where she has, called a spade when a mother was just not doing what she's supposed to do, and she gave custody to the father. And I've seen that on more than one occasion with her, and it's very difficult. Judge Asha Jackson in DeKalb County Superior Court, Judge Letitia Deere Jackson in DeKalb County Superior Court. These are the judges who I've seen do different things, but then you have those who just don't. For example, the judge that Tyrese is before. Now we know Tyrese has some issues, but I think that was a little heavy-handed, and I've been before that judge before myself, and I've had to talk to that judge about visitation. And I don't like the term visitation. I like the term parenting time. But parenting time for a father that he thought it was okay and adequate for this man to see his children once every 2 weeks. And I just didn't think that was appropriate. And I said it to him. And he said, well, that's my standard. And what's the issue? I said, well, when you wake up tomorrow as a black man, then you come and we'll have a different conversation with respect to why he needs his father in his life. More than even you might have needed your father in your life, because societal ills don't allow him an escape. It allows you an escape. So this is a age-old issue. It is consistent. Even in Fulton and DeKalb County, which is the two blackest counties of the Southeast region of the United States, likely. So you probably get to Houston going west and Detroit going up, because we know Detroit, Michigan has more, and they like to celebrate. They have more black judges in Detroit, Michigan than anywhere else in the whole wide world. Been that way forever, and I ain't gonna likely change. But nonetheless, we've got to do better. Cobb County, and we know Cobb County stands for what? Come on, black boy. All right, Cobb County. You go to Cobb County, you are destined to be mistreated. It's changing, but looking like us and being in Cobb County, still in the preferable place to be. So the floor is open, gentlemen. I'd love to hear the dialogue. I'm gonna sit back and, unless y'all get too hot and I got to just jump in, I want to sit back and listen a little bit on this one, because I really want to understand what you all think about this from a standpoint of people who are stakeholders in the court system, but not officers of the court, right? Because the stakeholders, I think, are the people who are disparately impacted. As a lawyer, I know what to do to get my justice. But I take that tongue in cheek, understanding that we know that law isn't today what it was 6 months ago. We know that courts today aren't what they were 6 months ago, because we understand that, and it's sad to say, and I say it, horribly embarrassed, that justice appears to be for sale right now. But let's talk about this issue, because that's a whole nother can of worms. So let's talk about this issue of family court. Who wants to take a first stab at it?
I'm going to start. I mean, I'm sitting.
All right.
This is like the game of double.
Turn your audio up just a little bit, Dr. White. Did you get it right? It could be.
Can you all hear me?
That's great. That's
one through. All right, this is like the game of double dutch. I'm just literally waiting to jump in. I'm going to say absolutely there's differential treatment. And I'm going to start from 1996 to 2007. I worked with...
Whoa. We only got an hour, Doc.
From 1996 to 2007, I worked with fathers with getting access and visitation rights to see the children. And you have the differential treatment on several levels. Number one, I'm going to take the position that there's this assumption that mothers would be better parents. That's all part of the history of, from the best interests of the child to the tender years that they believed at the child. And there's little acknowledgement of the role of fathers. And so, therefore, you've historically seen judges, especially if the children younger, go to the mother. And so, and it becomes a default. I think also that from a structural standpoint, you have issues. You have fathers who will go into court as a plaintiff and come out as a defendant. That you have a father who will go into court trying to get visitation or access to see his children, and in the family court, they will entertain child support in the family court. And so now his child support goes up. So he walks as a defendant. But if he goes to child support court, he can't have a conversation about visitation. So you have some structural pieces that are in place that are designed to support the mothers more. So I'm just going to start right there. But I got the whole book. Y'all know that, but yeah, that is always burned me up. Absolutely.
I love that. That's incredible. Anybody else want to take a stab at this one?
Well, the research shows that family court proceedings significantly fare against men, which then you talk about the impacts of, the financial well-being, the mental health well-being, but it's been thoroughly documented that family law aims at fairness, but there's a systematic bias that exists. And that's going to be a conversation for another day of how do we right those wrongs, right?
I think I take Dr. Gary L. White and handcuff him and take him down there to the family court and let's raise some hell. That's how I think we do. And just so you know, thank Dr. Lamar White. Thank you for the resources that you supplied. Those resources will be up on our website at www.thebrothaz.com. Brothers is BROTHAZ as in zebra.com. And thank you so much for those resources that you provided for those who are looking for help with respect to family law issues. What do you say?
As everyone on this platform knows, this is a very near and dear topic to me, because on one side I'm with Attorney Williams in another setting, and we're fighting, advocating for our clients. On the other side, I've been the petitioner or even the defendant as such, from both sides, from a defendant as from the state of Cobb or state of Georgia, I don't want to say the city, but heck, I just said it. Yeah, here we go.
Don't you remember when you...
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it back.
We found out a couple of weeks ago.
I'll tell you about it back after this. So, yeah, I'll tell you about it. So, you had the opportunity. You had a lot of people in your ear. If you were in Fred's ear about doing the right thing back in the day when Fred didn't have any kids, raise your right hand. So you can say what you get ready to say. I'm going to just tell you, it's on deaf ears, probably for the other half of the screen.
I had Dr. L. Love Doctor talking to me now. Don't get it twisted now. The Love Doctor now, that boy know how to make me now, don't y'all? He warned me after he gave me the good advice.
Hey. Gotta do it.
See, that beard come with some magic right there, right? Oh, man. You gotta chill. You know what I mean? When you get into that, you gotta chill.
Fred, you experienced what I call on my show a post-nut epiphany.
What? You're low, Doc. We can't hardly hear you.
It's kind of weird. I said a post-nut epiphany. That's what you
It's not epiphany.
post-nut epiphany. You learn all this shit after the fact. But for
4
whatever
times
reason,
after 2, Dr. Gary White. It ain't just 1. I should have learned after the first one, but I got 4. In the name of Jesus, I got 4.
woo,
But you love them all.
I love them all, but I don't love the system. I don't love the child support. I've learned that even many women may or may not know, they know now, when you put money in that child support, you don't get the entire amount of money that they tell us to put in it, right? It's a depository. So from what I've learned is child support is like a bank, like a Bank of America, right? And so they hold your money for a day or two. They collect interest off of it. And then your money gets released to the mom.
Do they give her all of it?
No, they give most of it. I think they charge like a service fee.
Dr. White's like, nope. Dr. White, how much do they get?
well, it's a pass-through, especially if she's receiving any form of public assistance under 19, the Personal Responsibility and Reconciliation Act. That's what changed that particular law and allowed for states to collect and retain a portion of the child support. Now, what that did is caused a great deal of stress in the families because a mother is saying, I need more. And the father says, this is what I'm giving. But the mother said, but that's not what I'm getting. And so you ended up having, because of this, a great deal of conflict and the demand for fathers to give more. But right there in the middle, where I say the court becomes the other man, right there in the middle, the court says, you gave enough and says to the woman, and that's all you're going to get. And so
it turns to stay into a collection agency, huh?
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
And in Georgia, they used to have Maximus child support recovery, and Georgia quietly shut that down. And the reason why they quietly shut it down because Maximus child support recovery had amassed so much money that they failed to pass on because of poor management. So they had to end it.
Wow. Is
now,
that true?
Oh, that's not. So let me put my thing. The mother of my children have been wonderful and gracious and merciful. Let me say that now. Let me say that now.
And,
but
and evil and wenches. Okay.
But no, there's been times that they couldn't be as gracious as they would want to be, right? Because they couldn't. They just didn't have they couldn't do it. So I've seen both areas, and I'm not proud of it. You know, at the end of the day, it does start with me, right? I could have strapped up. Like, there's so many different steps that you could have got before we got here, right? So I'm not blaming the mother. I'm not blaming the system, but I do want people and men in general to at least be aware of it, right? Like, you've been on me, like, you need to make sure you legitimate your children. That's very, very important, right? People may not understand the legalities behind that, but if you don't legitimate your child, you're paying money and you can't even see your investment as such, right? You can't even. So I'm glad that I have you and Dr. White to kind of stay on me, because you think you like this girl, you love the girl, or if it was just a good time, right? But you still created this child, and what comes with that child is responsibility. And I want all of us as men to realize and understand that.
Man, and listen, thank you for that. Thank you, first of all, for being willing to share your personal experience, Frederick. And that is poignant and is very, very scary, because as Dr. G. White said, he's right, Dr. White, the state has been turned into a collection agency. And what I found to be very interesting is that the state has taken an incredible role in ensuring, and the way they couch it is they're protecting the child through the custodial parent. But we know oftentimes, and most often, the custodial parent is who? The mother, not the father. So, and when the father is the custodial parent, he often doesn't get, in my experience, all the resources, all the help, all the pull you to the side. Let me tell you, girl, conversations that the sisters get when they even walk in the courthouse. Because most of the people that work at the clerk's office are female.
There you go.
Most of the people that work for the judges are females. So when they see that woman coming there and they feel like she's been done wrong, they pull her to the side and they pull her up on game. I've seen.
What does society tell us, Weems? That men are supposed to be providers. We're not supposed to not have a job. You've seen it firsthand with me when I had my son. Lamar seen it too. I couldn't get no assistance. They were like, "You're a guy. You should be out there working." I'm like, "Well, I need it, right? I need it just for a short time." But they literally, I remember this daycare. I passed by it to this day when I'm driving past. But they told me, like, you're a guy, you need to figure it out. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, I need it. Like, whatever happened with our situation, I had my son. And thanks for helping my brothers.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have my brothers, I don't know where me and my firstborn would have been during that time, right? That's a scary thing to think about as a man. You might have your child, So those are things that we definitely need to discuss, moving
So to
forward.
Dr. Gary White and Dr. Lamar, I want to talk. You've done an incredible job. What's interesting is Dr. Lamar White, you did all this research, and you always research when you're getting ready to speak. I've noticed that about you, and I need to adopt that instead of just speaking off of the dome like I do oftentimes. But Dr. Gary White, interestingly enough, taught me statistics in grad school. So I know he researches the hell out of it because he actually not only taught me statistics, he was my thesis person. So he was the person who actually helped me with my thesis. And one thing I know what that cat is, it's all up here. So Dr. Gary White, the question I have for you is, how do we get here? And is it the same in the South as it is in Detroit, or is this a Southern thing? I mean, all three of y'all are from California, so which I found to be very interesting. And I should just hang up the phone right now. But is this California's way as well?
Yeah, but I'm going to add though that you're in the Bible Belt. You're down in the South, and in a place where responsible fatherhood is singularly defined and understood and accepted as your ability to meet the financial obligations of your child. So little interest or focus is given to the amount of touches that a father has, or even recognizing men, and here, because my work centers around Black men, recognizing and understanding them as nurturers or caregivers. Here's reality, and I like to give this analogy. In January 22nd, 2006, Kobe Bryant against the Toronto Raptors scored 81 points, the highest number of points ever in the NBA, next to Wilt Chamberlain, who scored 100. And the question is, were they able to do it? It's because of the amount of touches that they got. And so without the amount of touches, you can't have that impact. So that becomes a challenge when we see visitation and we only allow our fathers to see their child every first, third, and fifth weekend of the month and alternating holidays, where the role of nurturing and the contact is and the touches are there and are critical. So we see these values held, I believe, a little higher in the South because we are still in that whole entire conservative mindset. I believe as you began to move west, you may see some differences in the amount of access, because particularly Georgia, for example, we still have legitimation and paternity separated. Other states have no concept. You go to California, if you establish paternity, legitimation is already done. So when I'm doing workshops at home and I'm talking about legitimation, they're saying, well, what is that? And so Georgia and I believe one other state are the only states that still kind of maintain that.
I think it's Mississippi.
Yeah, so they're not valuing, and they're structurally making it more difficult for fathers to be involved. So until these things began to get changed, especially, Fred, as you said, if you were not married to the mother. And so I did a workshop on the politics of fatherhood at Clark one year, a couple years ago, and the women in the room damn near had an uprising that I wasn't centering
everything around them.
Women in the center. And I said, but you all are missing the point. The women are not in the center. They're taking up 90% of it. I'm trying to move the fathers a little more to the center by educating you all on his legal status if he wasn't married to the mother. And so these are the things here that continue. And so here we are in 2025, and we're still wrestling with these type of issues where a father, if you look at him, and if he's of a darker hue, or if he's not dressed appropriately, then you will have a judge who will err on the side of caution and order supervised visits. Well, supervised visits cost anywhere from $50 to $75 an hour. So hell, if he can't afford an attorney, he sure the hell can't afford paying $50 to $75 an hour. So a judge has ordered him to have his child 2 hours or 3 hours every other weekend at $50. So that's $150 every other weekend. So it reaches a point where it's not even economically feasible
Yeah.
for a father to be involved with his child, especially if he's of a lower economic standing. So y'all, this got me sweating. I'm gonna tell
So,
you.
Dr. White, what about? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I see he's passionate about that. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
No.
So, are you guys familiar? I know you are, Dr. Both, actually, all of you all are, but the Putative Fathers Registry in Georgia. It burns me the.
Hold on, y'all. So for all you listeners, I'm gonna put it in the rawest form. Here is the notion of the Putative Fathers Registry. Every time you have sex with a woman, then it is assumed that you are to get up, clean yourself off, and then get to the Putative Fathers Registry and register her like a notch in the belt. Because in the event that she wants to put the child up for adoption or whatever, then the first thing the adoption agency does is check the Putative Fathers Registry. So you think about that. All right, boy, y'all.
And you can't even. Here's the thing: you used to be able to call into the Putative Fathers Registry. You can't do that anymore. Now you have to write into the Putative Registry.
Attorney Williams, can you kind of give that history behind? I think you kind of told me briefly of where you believe this came from, the legitimation and the slavery and the property. And you remember when you kind of.
Absolutely. But I think we've lost. Have we lost Dr. Gary White and Dr. Lamar White? Fred?
No, we're here.
We're here.
They both are frozen on my screen. I don't know why. But so the legitimation, I'm sure, is in my readings, is a arm of slavery, where slaves did not want their masters did not want the enslaved heirs to take from their property. And their state if something were to happen to them. So if I didn't claim you, you're not mine, right? But it had the reverse effect as well, because now if you're married to somebody, but that person goes and has a baby outside of the marriage, that baby is still a child of the marriage. So it had a reverse effect. I think it's archaic. I think it's wrong, because if you're going to make the man register, then we need to get a putative mother's registry as well, because it should serve the same purpose. All you're saying is, tell me who the potential mother is, but tell me who the potential father is. Because what mama gets to do is to have a glorious pregnancy, take her prenatal vitamin, go have her baby, and then they ask her, who's the daddy? Why they got the birth certificate in hand? What name you want me to put down here? And if she puts Antavius Weems, Lamar White, Gary White, and Frederick Hawkins, then that's who the father is.
Now, add to this, back to that 1990 Personal Responsibility and Reconciliation Act. So what ended up happening?
Dr. White, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Hold that, because we're going. I know. I smell where you're about to go, and I want it. All right. So, but we're gonna do that on the other side of the break. Okay? Is that okay? All right. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back. We're going into this conversation, this topic of the Putative Fathers Registry and family court.
Aparicio and Antavius roll like tides. College days, Clark, Atlanta, where it all collides. Fred stepped in, the trio came alive. 3 voices, 1 mic, now the stories thrive. Late nights, deep talks, the bonds grew tight. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. From the quad to the world, every tale's legit. Fred's jokes hit hard, Aparico's wit. Antavius drops wisdom smooth and quick. 3 heads, 1 vibe, the chemistry stick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the other side of the break. We thank you so much for your patience. We are talking about a family court. Family court. Who's getting the better treatment? And right before we're going into break, Dr. Gary White, you were going to kind of put us up on some game on this putative father's registry mess.
Well, I was picking up and making this case about the punitive father's registry, and I was going to say there kind of is a form of a punitive mother's registry. It just looks like this, that when a mother's trying to apply to get public assistance after that 1996 Personal Responsibility and Reconciliation Act, in order for her to get that public assistance, she has to continue to name fathers until a man verbally acknowledges that he's the father or a DNA test is taken. And so I have seen cases where a mother has brought in 3 to 5 men. Now, this is important because for evidence in court, there's a potential of a disruption of a family or a household. So, well, that's the structure. I'm going to stay stuck on this. The structure, the way much of the system is structured, produces the differential.
Wait, are you telling me that we are allowing women to parade men?
That's crazy.
Through the system.
Right. Wow.
You said 3 to 5.
That's crazy.
Before you determine who your baby daddy is.
Absolutely. Or a man gets in the court and acknowledges it. And even a man that gets in the court and acknowledgement through verbal acknowledgement, and of course, verbal acknowledgement means paternity is established. And that's an intimidating piece. So back to the structure of the court. If I'm a father that does not have the economic means, and I come to court and then I listen to the opening statement of the ADA about what is about to take place in the child support court, the notion that he can be brought up on criminal charges for child abandonment, and so his child support case can be moved to a criminal, and help me on that one, Wayne, move to a criminal case. So you have some men who will say, I'm not going to take the risk of that. I'm just going to accept that the child is mine.
Yeah, because she gets mad and she goes into court and she's pissed. So first thing she does is the child abandonment. He ain't paying no child support. But here's the other thing. Here's what's more. That daddy could have been cash apping that mama money every damn day, and he will get no credit unless he has a prosecutor or a judge that's willing to look at that cash app and decipher it and dig in and ask probing questions of the mother with respect to what that money was for. Oh, in most cases, you have judges who don't look like us that just say that was a gift, and you've given her $300 a day for the last, or $300 a month, whatever it is, for the last year. And do you think I'm gonna give her that as a gift? And if she says, "Oh, it's a gift," so you're in trouble. This is trouble. I think now that I'm thinking about it, Fulton County has a family court division. Cobb County doesn't. All of the Cobb County judges hear family court cases. It may not be a bad thing to try to start thinking about a way to approach them with respect to these. I'm trying to think of a good word that doesn't seem perceived bias. These perceived biases, because there has to be a solution. There has to be a resolution to this mess, right? What do y'all think about that?
I have a question. What are your thoughts, Williams? I know you asked a question to answer a question, but the Cobb Court, you just struck me from a whole nother aspect. I know Fulton County has a family. Do you think that it's the intent of not having that family division so certain judges, it doesn't rotate between the couple of judges? It provides a whole different level of diversity. Is that the intent behind it, or do you think they just, the reason is like we just don't need it, or we just never created one? It wasn't one needed.
I don't know. I venture to say that judges are very territorial, and they don't like other judges taking their stuff, even if they don't know how to damn do it. So every judge in the Cobb County Superior Court hears everything. Now, I will venture to say most of them do a good job in boning up on the law. You have a couple of them. Like, I'll call a name if I get mad enough, but it ain't Asha Jackson, it ain't Letitia Deer Jackson, but it's some of the other ones, and and they will get to a point where they know they don't know the law, and they will pronounce a bad ruling. And when you tell them that's not the law, judge, that's just not the law, what they will do is say, appeal me,
which costs your client more money.
Costs my client. So because you don't want to do your job to find out what the real law is, you have now impacted this whole family So it's not Judge Letitia Dear Jackson. It's not Shandina Morris, because Shandina I know well. It's not Greg Adams. It's not Asha Jackson. It's not Yolanda Parker Smith. I've known Yolanda Parker Smith for 117 years. It's not Stacey Hydrick. It's not Nora Polk. It's not Brian Lake.
You gonna get honesty on the brothers, everyone. You gonna get the honesty.
That's what you came for, right? And Tavius, why you do that? Why, y'all just need to talk. No, she needs to learn the law and stop impacting poor Black families, because that's what she's serving in DeKalb County. And she needs to come to work.
You know, the toughest part about that is that the men who are impacted, they reach a point of despair and hopelessness. You reach men who would rather terminate their parental rights than to stay stuck in this yoke of just hopeless aspiration. They would rather just kind of give up and just say F it. And so that's where my concern with all that we're talking about is where my concern at, because we still have to encourage men and lift men, the fathers up in terms of staying involved. But more importantly now, let me throw this on y'all, because there's some part of this too I want to put on the men. And the part I just want to lean on the fathers with a bit too is the process. You've got to understand the process. My aunt Frankie, man, used to always say, if you can do better, do better. And my argument is that, for example, if you're going to child support court, I don't tell you borrow all the money on the that you can get a hold of to have an attorney, because what happens in that child support court will impact you for the next 18 to, depending on the order, 19 years.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Go ahead.
So it's tough because I'm telling men, now here's the flip side. When men catch a charge and they have to go to court and they're facing prison, they will find the money. If it's shoplifting, if it's family violence, they will get an attorney to represent them. Even men with low to no income will manage to find the money to have someone represent them. And I'm telling brothers, for those of you who are watching this, I'm telling you that when you're dealing with family court, you've got to have an attorney. But I'm going to add this point on here.
Make it a quick one.
Law attorney. A family law attorney.
And we're going to be moving on, guys, to get to the end of this. I feel like we didn't dig in deep enough. I almost feel like we probably need a part 2 on this, and maybe bring a female just so she can give an opposite point of view. I think we need to be balanced, maybe, with the brothers. But I'm trying to be fair. Do we have to be fair? Because think about it this way, and this is my last point on this. When brothers go to court and they're having difficulty, even with the judge, Dr. G. White, and they start bantering or the judge doesn't like them, judges punish litigants. They'll punish you if they don't like your lawyer. They'll punish you if they don't like your demeanor. And here's an example of that punishment. Take a look.
And I would say right now, Antavius, G. White, Frederick, we really, really got to talk about the mental health, going back to what Dr. White was saying. We need to acknowledge every person's going through this, acknowledge their feelings. Like as you've seen with Tyrese Gibson. You gotta have strong support system. You gotta have people like all the brothers I see on this screen. You gotta have that group support. You gotta seek some type of counseling. You gotta practice some type of self-care. A lot of times, going back to what G. White was saying, I thought he was gonna say that men start thinking about suicide and all those different things, because those are the impacts from anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, suicidal thoughts, like all those things matter. And I think the last thing that I will say is you got to protect your mental health. Why you going through this process? We got car insurance, right? We got health insurance, but we don't use that other side of health insurance that deals with your mental health and actually seeing somebody and talking to somebody. So I want to thank all you brothers, because as I went through things throughout my life, you guys have all shown up for me. And the crazy thing is, y'all are social workers. So I appreciate it. But those are the key things when we talk about mental health and impacts of mental health. Because you can see, like Tyrese, he got a lot of stuff going on with him. But when it comes to his babies,
he's there.
He's always there, right? So I just hope that man has the support.
He has a good lawyer.
Yeah.
He has a good lawyer.
Who's his lawyer?
But the more and more we talk, the more and more, Fred, I'm starting to think we probably do need a part 2 on this, This is deep. If you gentlemen are available to come back next Friday to talk about this, we would love to have you. But we've got to get some resources out the whites. If y'all can send us anything that you have so that we can post on the website, because I didn't think about it. The mental health piece, these judges are not really getting. They're not getting it. But the other thing is that, and this is my last point, in Fulton County, there are 24 judges on the Superior Court. 2 of them are black men.
That means something.
Wow.
That means something right there.
What's that? Less than 5%? Like, what is that?
On the court, 98%, when I was there as a child advocate attorney, 98% during that time of children that came before the court that ended up with the courts were black males. But we only had 2 out of 5, 2 black male judges in juvenile court in Fulton County. So 1 retired, then 1 left or didn't get reappointed. So then there were no black males. And at one point there were all black females, 1 white male, 1 white female. And they were getting ready to make an appointment, and they had the nerve, audacity, and unmitigated gall to suggest that they were not going to appoint a black male. And I went on a rampage, and anybody can Google it, because I took the judges to task. And thank God they listened. And we have Judge Corey Johnson on that bench over there, and he's doing an incredible job. So we may need to come back if we can work it in our scheduling. If not, we're going to put those resources on our website. But any last point that you all like to make before we go to Bro Mail?
I just want to say there are some really good in Fulton County, and I don't want to keep using names, but Judge Belinda Edwards, man, I've seen her in different areas where you can just literally watch somebody separate the baby and split it in half, if that makes sense, right? And to make the best decision. And I know people are like, man, she's tough, but the decisions that she's making impacts the overall. And we really need a lot more judges like that as opposed to the alternative, because it gives us as men who have been on the other side a little bit of hope to say, hey, we got a shot. We got a shot. And that's very important. Sometimes when you say Fulton County, you're like, yes. Because if you say another county, you're like, I don't got a chance in hell.
That's the truth. So, that's so funny you say that. That's so funny you say,
but it's the truth. You be like, oh, where did it come from? I think even your lawyer say, what county? All right. It's a different perspective. So
I went to Jones County on a family law. No, it wasn't a family law matter. We represent a church. Yeah. And me and the judge going back and forth. And the judge, first of all, when I walked in there, I was the only black man other than Fred and my other paralegal who actually had on suits. The rest of them had on orange. And the judge immediately called me to the front and asked, how can I help you so we can get you back to Atlanta? He said that.
He said big city.
To the big city. And when we got into this back and forth about the law, he took a recess. When he took recess, a black deputy sheriff came and pulled me out and said, when you leave here, I have someone that is going to lead you through the back way to the expressway. Follow them. Do not divert. When you get on the expressway, I don't care if you don't have gas. Do not get off until you get to Atlanta, because they are planning on stopping you and putting you in jail. So I've had that experience. I've seen it happen. Any last words from you, Dr. L. White?
Man, no.
How about you, Dr. Gary White? I want you to have the last word as the expert in the room.
I just wish I could organize a field trip of several young black men and bring them to court to just observe. I want them to observe family court. I want them to see, as a deterrent, Fred, or if nothing else, understand what their behavior and the aftermath of their behavior and what that process looks like. I think it would be quite overwhelming to be there on a Tuesday morning and witness that.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that kind of, I don't want to say end, so it pins our discussion on family court, who gets preferential treatment, moms or dads. And, as we always do, Fred Hawkins, we get emails. We get these crazy emails to, and please keep sending them. Send your email to the brothers@weensfirm.com, or just go to the website and do it that way. But we like to read some of these communications, and it's called Bro Mail. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Fred, and we're going to get a caption. I'm going to see if we can get Eric to get us a caption so when we start bromance, something bromance.
Right. Give some music or something, man.
Go ahead, somebody get one of them Braxtons to sing it.
Right. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
All right, brothers. We have Bro Mel, and they must have knew Dr. L. White was coming back on because they said Dr. L. White, but now we got Dr. G. White, so I'm very, very happy. I'm going to go read this letter. It's coming from PCA.
I think I probably should have looked at this letter before you put this on there, because I feel like this is going to be some...
Because, I'm going to pick one of the ones that hit me. Hit me home. All right, dear the brothers and Dr. White, I hope this message finds you all well. I'm reaching out for some advice regarding a
that's because Dr. White was on last week. Sorry.
Right. So I guess they assume Dr. White. I guess you gonna have to be on part of the show all the time, brother. They writing letters to you. Jeez. All right. I'm reaching out for some advice regarding a sensitive and complicated situation involving child support and paternity, and I would greatly appreciate any guidance you can provide. Wow, right on time. A close friend of mine is currently facing a challenging circumstance. He was married to a woman who had an affair during their marriage, and shortly after, she became pregnant. Despite the timing raising doubts, she has never confirmed the identity of the biological father, and no paternity test has been conducted to date. Now that they are separated, she is requesting child support from him, of course, even though there is no proof that he is the biological father. Understandably, he feels overwhelmed and unsure of his rights in this situation. He wants to take responsibility, but he needs clarity before committing to something as significant as child support. So he has a few questions. Is he legally obligated to pay child support if paternity hasn't been established? One, and that's probably for Dr. Attorney Williams as well. That's a legal question. Number two, can he request a DNA test before any support order is finalized? Good. Number three, if it's proven that he is not the father, what options does he have if she still insists on child support? Number four, generally, how does the system handle cases involving infidelity and paternity uncertainty? All right, this is the end of it. He generally wants to do the right thing, but only if it's truly his responsibility. He wants to ensure that he isn't taken advantage of or pressured into something without having the facts straight. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Advice or direction you can provide will be immensely appreciated. Warm regards.
Wow.
There's a lot there, you guys.
You said
that's warm
regards?
Warm regards.
Sorry. Ain't no.
Where is it from?
How old is that child?
You know what? They didn't say the age of the child. So sometimes our letters, we've learned, don't give us everything. They leave it to our imagination,
I guess.
So I'm going to ask this question because if it's a newborn or a toddler, that's one thing. But if that child is now 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, that might hit different. Oh, wait, Williams, I'll let y'all handle that.
Man, all I would say, and I'm gonna defer a lot of this to Attorney Weems. You're gonna have to put that attorney hat on, sir. From my understanding, paternity needs to be legally established before a man can be ordered to pay child support. That's what I know.
It's not the case. And back in the day, Lamar, you had judges that would tell dads, he was like, "That ain't my child. That ain't my child." You know what the judge would say to him?
What's that?
Feed it till it look like you.
So we really don't have
put your head in the square. Put your head in the square. You too, Gary. Feed it till it look like you.
We don't have any rights. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's nuts.
I'm not lying, Doc. Child support is an obligation. Custody is a right. What that means is when you have rights, right? They're yours. If you don't want to exercise them, that's up to you. That means if you don't want to exercise your custodial rights, you don't have to. But you can't say, because I don't want to see the child, I'm not going to pay my obligation to the child. They're totally separate. They're supposed to be totally separate. And they are most times when a woman takes a man to court. If a man takes a woman to court, my experience is that they're the same. They're the same. Judges create even playing fields for women oftentimes in familial situations.
That much power. They have that much power in this situation.
And the child support, it was so much power that the state changed and modified child support because child support used to be, I think, 17 to 21% of your gross income of the non-custodial parent, the father. And they didn't even take into account the other parent's income.
Like in New York.
Right. But it changed, thank God. So now it takes into account both parents' income. So at least we have some levity and equity, if you will, there. But Dr. Gary White, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I just wanted to add one more layer to it for your response. But the amount of child support that he pays is also connected to the amount of time that he spends with the child. So the number of days that he has when they calculate, am I right there, Wings? A little bit? Mm-hmm. So the amount of time, and so, when we work with men with being involved, one of the things that you need to know that magic number in terms of those number of days. If you really want the amount of your obligation to, because now they take the mother's income and the father's income in consideration and balance that against the amount of parenting time that he has. And so that standard order, third and fifth weekend of the month, alternating holidays will never will never result in the father having the amount of time that he needs that would cause her income to be calculated more or to reduce his percentage of income. So that's, it's a tricky part there. But Attorney Williams, if you can kind of clarify that for me.
A great job. And I'll come back and certainly we can talk about it more next time we get back together. But I think we're kind of close to time. So I want to move us on. Fred, next thing we're going to talk about is, okay.
This is my clip.
From this point going forward, this is all on Fred Hawkins. Now, I'm a fan of this person, but I'm not a fool for this person. Mr. Hawkins, the floor is yours.
Hey, I told you Bro Mill is one of my favorite times of the night, but this by far is my favorite time of the night. This is going to be an ended quote. I want to leave everyone, or not necessarily an ended quote, but something. I want to leave something on someone's mind, and I'm going to let my brother Antavius play the clip, and we're going to talk about it briefly, gentlemen, about what's going on.
I could just,
I see Dr. G. White shaking his head. I think L. White might be.
Hey, Gary, listen, this is smoke. I'm just going to tell y'all now. But the dude is bringing smoke. That's what he does. This is going to be some smoke, but we can handle it because we brothers, right? We can handle it.
You might agree with him. You might find some agreement.
We might find some agreement. It's a pretty long clip, but I think it's worth it.
Okay, let's do it. All right.
You're going to get beat up.
That man dropped jewels, man. My condolences, but I love to hear what both Dr. L. White, Dr. G. White, and I got my thoughts, but I'm gonna be quiet on this one. I'm gonna let you guys talk.
Gary, you can't leave. You cannot leave. So.
This the end now. This the end. We're gonna end with some fire now. I'll finish my last kata.
Just want to listen.
So basically what he's saying is men have the option to marry, to start with relationships, but they're not feeling obligated to do so because they're not seeing the same quality on the other end. And I would totally agree. That's a great theory, and all these are theories, so we can all like agree to disagree or agree. But in the case of myself, I'm in a situation, being 42 years old, and I refuse to settle.
Woman that's approaching you or that you're finding is not the caliber of woman that you would like to marry, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's exactly it. So with my own, so that resonates with me. I don't know where that clip came from, but that resonates with me personally because I'm not going to settle. I should have locked somebody down when I was on CAU's campus, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But
I say that all the time.
Well, this world is wicked and wild, and the women that I've come in contact with is gimme, take, and there's no giving. There's no support. And I say support, I mean just mental. Like, hey, did you have a good day? Any particular consideration? I remember one of my birthdays, not the birthday when we went to Vegas, but another birthday. One of my birthdays, I don't know if we can talk about that, man. That's funny, client privilege right there. Exactly. But I remember a birthday that I spent and I didn't spend it doing anything about me. I was doing something that the female wanted to do. And when I
What's she
spoke,
doing?
it was nothing about me. When
Oh,
I
your
spoke
birthday.
up about this situation, I won't tell you the year, I won't tell you anything like that. When I spoke up, her homegirls was like, what's wrong with him? So my whole thing to say is, when you don't have a quality woman, you don't have a woman that's high value, how they gonna treat you high value? Because they don't even know what high value is.
So Lamar, let me explain something before you. Anybody say anything else? Ladies and gentlemen of the world, this is where you find your split between men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated and men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. You will see this is an incredible experiment. And I'm going to take a chance here. Don't y'all muck this up for me. You will see that the approach to this issue is going to be starkly different between myself and Dr. Gary White, who are both members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and Dr. Lamar J. White and Frederick Hawkins, who are both members of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So, Dr. Gary White, what say you?
I'm struggling with that.
Now, you can't be standing there for Aparicio, who's a Kappa, and start talking like a Kappa.
No, I'm in absolute opposition to it because you chose it. We complaining about the women, but you chose her. You know, the relating phase, you talk about dating, mating, and relating. And the reality is you can mate the first time and as frequently as you want. You can date as frequently as you want, but relating takes time. And if you're measuring the relationship because the frequency at which you hit it, you're going to be wrong. So, yes, you can raise these issues about the quality of the woman, but you chose them. And so you have this experience and discover that they're not at the level of equality that you want them to be. But the relating phase is just designed to do that. And so you find a woman, and then I'm going to tell you, there's nothing more dangerous than not you, Brother White, but I'm just saying this. There's nothing more dangerous than a broken brother and a wounded woman getting together.
That's right.
You're going to have
It's codependent than a mug.
Yeah, so you have these type of issues. So my whole argument, I struggle with Kevin Samuels when he universalizes these statements. And you're talking about somebody who's been married twice, right? So he's universalizing these statements. He's not applying them to his own daughter, and that's a whole different relationship matter. But the truth of the matter is that it's a choice. It is a choice when we take our time to choose and find that right one. But if you're measuring the progress at the frequency at which you hit it, then you're going to have a post-nut epiphany too. And now you didn't invest it in her. You a homosexual. You didn't move in with her at 30 days.
A PNE, post-nut epiphany. Got it.
Post-nut epiphany, or you are a homosexual. You have what I call a homosexual. I mean that you have people who go from relationship to relationship for the purpose of moving in with them. Yeah. And now discovering all these issues. So then we start universalizing the statement about the quality of the women. Now we got one other problem here. Fred, you got a daughter, don't you?
Yes, two. Yes.
So the teaching of this, do we turn around and say these same like I got 3 daughters. And so I'm saying it's the exact same
Y'all
thing.
Got one goal in life.
I got to warn to protect, keep her off the pole.
Keep her off the pole.
So I got to train my daughters to be mindful of broken brothers. Or as my daughter once said, sassy apocalypse. You have brothers who are emotionally fragile. She said,
sassy apocalypse.
That's good. That's good.
So I'm just taking a position and challenging him. I'm saying, everything you saying, Kevin Samuel, you right, as it relates to the women that you've chosen.
All right. All right, Frederick.
I mean, that was that. How do I follow that up? But I do share what Dr. L. White is, what he's saying, right? I do think that the ownership, we do have to pick. So what Dr. G. White, we pick the ownership, it goes, and I'm with Dr. L. White when it comes to this. It goes on both ways, right? Because they're looking for something and we're looking for something. And when we put it together, we need to realize at the end of the day if it's going to be that or not. I think we spend far too much time of pretending or even putting up a facade as such. I hear people all the time say you got to go through 4 seasons in a relationship, right? Because you could go through the one season and say everything looks good, but then when somebody gets sick or say the family member get, all these things are dynamics to the relationship, and it goes to what Kevin Samuel was saying. Sometimes you want the person that you want to be with, you want them to magnify who you are, right? The person that you want to love or to care for you, you want them to exemplify or to at least, what's the word? You want them to kind of
to fix you, to repair you.
Yeah, to make you better.
I would say compliment. Because I don't want to be fixed or repaired. Because I want to be whole.
That's the word. Compliment where you're going, regardless of where that is. If I'm a bank robber, I want you to compliment me in bank robbery. If I want you to things, and I think in far too, we're just not when it says unequally yoked in the Bible, we've always hear that, and we always kind of think that it lends to being spiritually connected. But I think God meant a lot more than that, right? I think He meant equally yoked in all your areas of your life, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily spiritually, but what we like to eat, right? A vegan and someone that likes to eat red meat all the time, those are things that you got to navigate through a relationship. So I think what Kevin Samuel, to sum it all up real quick, Kevin Samuel is saying, hey, we are going after these women, and sometimes they show us one thing, but they don't give us what they show us. And I think it's incumbent on us to be able to identify that as men and to understand that they didn't show us that and to move forward. I think that was...
First of all, let me say this. Y'all, I said that I want to tell the world, I'm having some oral surgery stuff, so I got stitches in my mouth and stuff, so I'm doing weird stuff in my mouth. Please just excuse it, because it's like giving me some uncomfortableness right now. My position is, first of all, I start off with saluting Kevin Samuel. Kevin Samuel. We'll always salute that brother. I don't necessarily always agree. I agree with this message. I don't agree with this delivery. And that's interesting because my mama tells me that all the time. She say, boy, it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. And I'm practicing that. I'm practicing, mama, because I know my mama. But I'm of the opinion, and I'm with Dr. L. White on, I made a huge mistake in that I focused more on my career and not enough on my personal life. And had I focused more on or tried to balance them, I would have a wife now. And I might be a paralegal, because I probably wouldn't have gone to law school maybe, but I will have legacy and lineage, right? And I wouldn't be worried about the woman who comes up to me at the bar. I mean, friend Lamar, y'all are with me. Y'all always say women always, and yeah, they do. They be like checking your boy out. But anyway, they always come up to me, and I'm always trying to figure out what you want. You just see me on TV. Did you hear me speak somewhere? Did I prosecute you? Or did I represent your mama? It's always something that I'm trying to figure out. And same thing with Lamar. I mean, because this dude, I mean, you've done a lot. So you want to find out, Fred, you agree, you left me. You want to find out, Frederick, you can turn your video back on, sir. Did we lose him? But we want to we want to make sure that we are protecting ourselves. What I did is I protected my heart, did not marry that girl that I was in love with at Clark Atlanta University, and now she's married with divorced with 2 kids, and I'm not going back. She got 2 kids now. I am not going into no ready-made family. I'm 54 years old with my own kid. So the interesting part becomes, what do you do? How do you balance it? Because on the other end, you have brothers that spend all the time getting the babies and the family, and then they can't make their career take off. Where's the balance? I don't know where the balance is. So when Kevin Samuels talk about it being equally yoked, I agree with Fred. I think the Bible did speak of that, and it spoke more of more than just, I guess, spirituality. But I looked at a video the other day of Drea Kelly. Y'all know who that is? Robert R. Kelly's ex-wife.
Yeah.
And she said something that was so poignant that I've been thinking about it since then. And I even reached out to her. I don't slide into folks' DM, but I slid in her DM. Actually, not romantically, but just to say, I feel what you're saying. And what she said is that she was a victim of R. Kelly's abuse, physically, emotionally, verbally. And she said the first man that she saw beat a woman was her grandfather, who beat her grandmother. And she saw that. And she said, but her grandfather was also a very well-known pastor in Chicago. And when R. Kelly beat her for the first time and she called her granddad, he took her to the judge and got a restraining order and argued to the judge and said, he is not going to hit my grandbaby. And she was thinking, but you did the same thing to my grandmother. And she said, what she said is that physical violence against women by men is normalized as early as on the playground. Because when a little boy goes to a little girl and he pushes her down and pulls her hair, she stands up, she runs to the teacher crying, and she says, Lamar hit me and pulled my hair. The teacher says, oh, he just likes you. He's just doing that because he likes you. So now you've normalized this physical abuse that she should accept because it communicates to her he likes you.
Wow. Me having daughters, that resonates so much now.
We cannot normalize that behavior. It's crazy. But I think it's probably the same way around for men, though. For little boys who, the little girls do the same thing, too. So I just think both ways we can't normalize that behavior. But listen, Kevin Samuels is a GOAT. I'm sorry. I got to give it up to him, Doc. He was a GOAT. Listen, he was a GOAT. He's a GOAT. But he had his way of communicating that was it added no sugar. It added no sugar.
I call him a weapon of black family destruction. So that's how stark I am.
We gotta bring Dr. G. White back. You know I gotta have that now. You know.
Period.
Dr. White, man, you got to argue about that. I don't know if I call him that.
I think he's a golden. We gotta preserve Kevin Samuels.
I think he's a weapon of woman manipulation.
Yeah.
Weapon against woman manipulation. One thing he was able to teach us how to not be manipulated in religion.
You know what? Let me say this.
And he also tested women, and he tested their expectations, and he challenged them to manage their own expectations.
Right.
Don't be someone working at McDonald's saying, I'll only date a Dr. Lamar White.
Exactly.
Because Dr. Lamar White, I know Dr. Lamar White, so he might hit it, but he ain't taking you home.
But you ain't heard the saying that if we seen Beyonce in a drive-thru, she gonna get married to Jay-Z. But if Jay-Z was in the drive-thru, Beyonce ain't messing with him.
Yeah.
That part. Dr. Gary White, you were going to say something?
No, I'm just saying this, that what I'm going to acknowledge, you take somebody like Brother Jay White, Lamar, he's a damn good catch. He is, and like you shared with your concern, he has to have a heightened sense of awareness for those who will approach him with pecuniary motives. That means that they ain't coming at him for the best interest. So for you, Antavius, your suspicion and your concern is valid. The challenge is that that when the right person who comes to you, is there a risk that you're going to miss her because left no space? And if the prerequisite to holler at you is that she's got to pull out her credentials and throw everything on the table, then y'all equally yoked in credentials, y'all equally yoked in values. But guess what? You don't know about the trauma that she carries, and she don't know about the trauma that you carry.
I don't know if it's a risk. It's a likelihood, Dr. White.
Yeah, and so what I'm saying is that when the measuring stick you all have to really pay attention to is a few things. Number one, equally yoked to me means shared values.
That's
but
right.
I'm like this. You learn so much when you look at a woman or a man, you look at them within the context of their family. I would tell women, you pay attention to the relationship a father has with his mom or a daughter has with the father. I want you to pay attention to the family dynamics. I'm not saying run if it's not healthy, but I'm going to tell you, you've heard the saying, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, and I'm going to say, and neither does the nut. And so you have to pay attention.
That's that alpha thing.
You know, I'm not, we know. No, okay, go ahead.
It's what got us here. But the truth of the matter is that, simply looking at what's before you is problematic. So I'm going to get to the concept of relating, taking the time, and now you're studying their family dynamics. You need to get to know about her family history because one thing you can't hide the impact of the influence of your upbringing. Now, if you were to say dating someone that really come from, you're looking at the love and the bonding that she has with her siblings or that he has with his mom and his parents, that's going to give you a little opportunity. So I think those things are so a woman, look at Wing's relationship with his mama to help you understand the true nature of what he does.
No, absolutely. Dr. White, you got anything you want to say? His last words?
Last words. I would just say we gotta circle back to this conversation. Gotta circle back.
Will you come back? Will you come back and circle back?
We'll definitely come back. Remember the 4 C's: commitment, compatibility, communication. Y'all know what the last one is?
I forgot. That's right.
These are essential.
Told us that already.
Essential components to building a healthy relationship, y'all.
That's right. That's right. My homework. You better with my time you give me. Dr. Gary White, will you come back and hang out with us, brother?
I'm not done yet. Absolutely.
All right. I can't hear you.
My three are caring, commitment, and consistency.
All right, caring, commitment, and consistency, ladies and gentlemen. Caring, commitment, and consistency. Right, Hawkins, what are your last words?
Hey, this has been a wonderful night. Great to be with the brothers, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation. That's all I got for you guys tonight.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm Antavius Williams, and of course, my final words, and what I didn't say, I will say, is that, the other thing I don't do is I don't crap where I eat, because I always end up eating crap. But that's where I find the most women who are likely to be the type of women that I would be interested in. That was one woman that I was very interested in, still interested in, but we worked together. So, that's very difficult, and I just won't cross that line. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an incredible conversation. An incredible conversation. I am so thankful to Dr. Gary L. White, our guest brother in for Aparicio. And even when Aparicio comes back, we're going to drag him back in with us. And, of course, our resident love doctor, the one and only Dr. Lamar J. White.
Yo.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Brothers, and we will see you next time.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. We have an exclusive press conference with both Dr. Whites, Dr. Lamar White and Dr. Gary White, who are going to appear on the Brothers podcast tonight. So, Dr. Lamar White, what are you going to talk about? Oh, you can't talk about it until you get on air. Okay, Dr. Gary White, what can you share? Oh, you can't share anything either. You guys are just standing here. All right, well, I guess you guys better get going. It's almost time for you to get on air. We'll be listening in. All right, thanks again. See you soon.
Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare, brother. Weaves, the name that they know. Aparicio and Antavius roll like tides. College days, Clark, Atlanta, where it all collides. Fred stepped in, the trio came alive. 3 voices, 1 mic, now the stories thrive. Late nights, deep talks, the bonds grew tight. From dorm room dreams to the podcast light. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. From the quad to the world, every tale's legit. Fred's jokes hit hard, Aparicio's wit. Antavius drops wisdom smooth and quick. 3 heads, 1 vibe, the chemistry stick. Topics that matter, no cap, no game. Through the static, we're carving our name. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. Brotherhood on air, we laugh, we share. Spinning life stories, no truth left spare. Brotherhood on air, pull up a chair. 3 minds, 1 heart, we're everywhere. We're every 3 minds, 1 much wanna